Kia ora koutou, no mai haere mai te awa kairangi. Hello everyone and welcome to Te Awa Kairangi. The third final day of the New Zealand Ultimate Championships 2024. This is a rumbling third place consolation matchup between Nexus from Wellington and Hammertron Mahuika from Hamilton. I'm joined with two wonderful commentators in the booth today. My name is Kelsey.
Kia ora, my name's Beck Soper.
And as always, my name is Blair Munro.
And I'm stoked to be here with these players on the field, with these commentators in the booth. Over to you guys. What are you excited about today? What are you looking for in this matchup? And what have we seen over the course of this tournament from these two teams?
So far today, each team has a fairly similar record against the other teams in the women's division. Neither has actually met each other in pools or power pool yet. So this is going to be a fresh matchup. They're going to have a fresh look at what each other team's doing. And we're going to see how they react to the different plays that are going on. I'm sure coaches Ben Johnston and Tim Germain will be taking notes on the sideline, making sure that they make those fine-tunings and adjustments as the game goes on.
And just to piggyback off what you were saying, Beck, I think it's important to recognize that not only do they have a similar record, it's almost identical. So the wins against common opponents and losses against common opponents match perfectly, both of these teams having lost their only double. So we saw Nexus drop 2 games to the Furious Blueberries. Hammertron having lost 2 games to, 1-1 loss against Cannons and 1 win against Cannons in their pre-semi. So that's the only real difference between their performance in the tournament so far.
I know Becca and I still reeling. I'm still working to process the emotions of that massive game that they had, that they went up against Cannons yesterday. We'll see what they can put on display on the field today. Now conditions, it's a little bit overcast, slightly cooler conditions than in the past, but this also just means that there's no glaring sun in anyone's eyes. Also wind is really non-existent. How strange.
Not here today. Wellington's decided to turn the switch off the entire weekend. Good for our teams here. It means we get to see some beautiful big plays. Steph Lynch with the pull, sending it deep. Looks like it's going to be Carter to field, looking for ball.
Such a dynamic connection we were seeing yesterday. Carter and Ball working together.
Just as we say that, Kelly Carter going to ground to keep that one alive. Just a slight miscomment about where she was going. Ball looking wide. Doesn't quite connect with her downfield. Looking middle again. She's got space to Carter, as she always does. Roman on the mark, trying to shut the dynamic player that Kelly Carter is down.
I love that big fake to space. Ball launching downfield.
McDonald with the disc. Hooning down that sideline. And again, another big put. That's going to be Perry in the zone. Beautiful. And that's a clean O.
I love, so they're running a vertical stack there and really nice flowy movements out of it. Really props to Nexus for slowing down some of those initial connections with some pressure on those defensive pressure on those cuts that were coming out. But yeah, nice flowy offense coming out from Hammertron. Love to see that first point on the board.
Yeah. And we'll see it again here on the highlight reel. Just Kelly's huge grab. Just snakes the edge of that disc.
Now, Blair, I know you've played quite a bit in Hamilton. You know these players, and you've played with the club team, especially in the mixed space. What are you surprised at all? Like, what are you looking for today?
Well, one of the things that I think particularly in Hammertron has been the development of the women's space. So that's something that I'm really looking to see. We've got some players who have, over the last few years, been pulled up from their second team, which we typically see in the mixed division in Division 2. Hammertron Fusion, all those players being slowly pulled up in towards the more premier, the more elite space. We're seeing quite a few of them on the field at the moment now as well. There's a lot of strength in Hamilton, but they've also had to recruit from relatively newer players. We've got a few youth players as well, Karenza, Ellie, Sophia Hall, to name a few. And the flip side of that is we go Nexus, and we've got Nexus with a reasonably similar line to that we've seen in previous tournaments. There's a series of big names that have been present on those Nexus lines. Yes, they are missing a fair few names from previous seasons, but it's still a lot of depth and a lot of talent present.
In particular, I can't wait to see the players that Nexus has been bringing out, new to Div 1 and new to Nexus this year, their U20 players, matching up with maybe some of Hammertron's U20 players. Very exciting stuff, seeing a lot of movement, a lot of differences in the Nexus roster, just especially in that bottom half of the roster. Lots of B team players coming up this year. Huge growth from Becca Lynch, massive!
I love that.
And straight to Claridge. Speaking of U20s, their young players coming in, just making themselves available.
What a put. Yeah, launching that deep, such a vision. And also with Lynch recognizing that. I was chatting with her before, and she has, I don't know, maybe 5% voice at the moment. So classic from Becca Lynch. She's such a powerhouse. Clearly taking that deep look here, but also a loud voice on the sideline. But you don't need a loud voice to tell everyone you're open when it's so clearly obvious down the line like that. Beautiful points.
She's got so much energy. She's possibly one of the most energetic people I know. And she's always there for her team, whether it's on field or off field. She's always engaged in the play. Great to see her snag that really tough grab.
Yeah.
Here, we'll see it again.
It's a big lefty backhand by the looks as well. And up that
Under
same
pressure.
third throw as well. That's one of the toughest things. When we split the field into vertical thirds, so from end zone to end zone, putting a throw up along the same path that a cutter is taking makes it a really, really hard read for them. So well done to just have a great awareness of where that disc was and just to pinch it right in front of the end zone.
Yeah, apologies. That looks like Hurley with the score, actually. There's so many young people in Nexus this year. I just love it. Can't wait to see all of them develop into just stunning players, as I'm sure they will. And some of them on the Kahu U20 squad, so they'll be coming under Ian Stewart's comfortable wing when they go to Worlds later.
Yeah, and as Beck was just mentioning, quite a few matchups also across Mahuika, the New Zealand mixed team, as well as Fight Titty, the New Zealand women's team, matching up against each other here. But we have Carter with the disc to Huvelon. Oh, a big fake.
Huvelon still wants it. Those fakes are selling me in the booth.
Finding Hogan to center. Cuts coming out of the vertical stack, but again, great pressure from Nexus. The disc goes to the break side, finding Carter. Carter
Sends
looks
it.
deep.
You knew she wanted to the moment she got it. Is she going to keep it in, though? Oh, just slightly out the side.
And again, in these lack of windy conditions, that was just the disc fading. It was fading out of bounds. Here we can see Nexus teammates on the sideline just indicating where it went out of bounds, but can you say no to an option like that with Huvelon streaking deep?
From absolutely one side of the field, diagonally across, completely into the zone, just covering so much ground in such a short space of time. She's a pocket rocket. We know she's got nos on those legs. And we're going to see more of that.
But one of the perils is we see how closely matched these teams are. They can't really afford to give up opportunities like that because those teams are so competitive, they're so evenly matched, they'll be able to fire back the other way and may not make mistakes coming back on the defensive turn.
And here we're seeing in the downfield,
Hogan
on the hunt. We've seen it before. We've seen it in the assuming to get in against Cannons. She's pulling it out again here today.
Love that energy, that intensity. So Hammertron with the disc, Carter picking up, looking for options downfield. A really deep stack, which we were seeing yesterday.
Who's marking Uvalon? Who is marking it? I think we're seeing that same sort of, just to ground. I think we're actually seeing a really similar defensive style from both Nexus and Mahuika. Just a bit of a switchy downfield look. Thus, they're all so well attuned to the space that's there, so well attuned to what their teammates are doing, that they are out of the hands of Terry. She's going to be unhappy about that.
Yeah, it looks like both teams may be slightly warming up. Some baubles coming out of the woodwork. Something they'll no doubt looking to clean up. We've got
McDonald sneaks it, but it's just between two Hammertron players.
Yeah, we see Huvalon wasn't really chasing that down as much. She knew it was going to be a turnover. Both teams, as Blair was just mentioning, will need to clean this up a little bit, though. There's a lot of turnovers happening in this, the third point of the game. Really love to see, it's early days still, but the 1-1 matchup, they're so well matched up as two teams.
I have to wonder whether or not it's just both of these teams coming in off some pretty aggressive semi-final matches, some really strong teams in Misfits and the Fast Blueberries, who we're going to see not too soon after the conclusion of this match.
Beautiful movement middle to Aston, flowing down to Parsons, back to Aston again. She's really just dicing up that downfield defense.
And I love O'Connor here on the wing. She's wide open.
Asking for it. Terry says yes.
Yeah.
O'Connor moving back. Oh, Langridge in the middle, but just not quite enough space.
Again, we're switching on defense.
Oh, she sends it one over the top, but is Mathers looking? Foul called. It looks difficult to say.
So Carter, it looks like, was slightly out of position coming around, and I think they're saying that she was knocked as Carter was looking to gain position. We'll see it again. What do you guys
Carter
think?
really had to matrix around to get a piece of that.
And there, interestingly, Carter was playing almost a deep of sorts. It looks like a foul, no contest. Big thanks to the hand signals and communication from the players on the field. Such an important part of ultimate spirit of the game and comms between both teams, as well as comms with the commentators.
Mathers with the disc now. She's looking for Terry. She's going to get Aston down the line, though.
Such a nice look.
Aston's looking, big fake.
Carter's
looking for a swing, gets Parson.
Racing to clean up.
Oh, jink from Aston. I liked it, but it was just timing just not quite on.
Nice movement, finding Terry to the middle of the field. O'Connor
back to Terry.
Nice
to Parsons.
movements.
Aston looking to, I'm liking the way that they're sort of simultaneously cutting in some of these places, trying to overload.
Yes,
Hammer,
why not? Why not?
Dicey Mather, let's go.
And some really dynamic movement from the Hammertron defense there. I was chatting with Emma Jane Holdaway, who played with Cannons yesterday, and she was giving me a bit of an update on the matchup. She said, you know, we just couldn't figure out at the end of the game how to adapt to their defense, the switchy defense that we were seeing Hammertron play just here. We couldn't figure out how to get open or what was going on, and the dynamicism, the flowing movement, thanks for bearing with us, I butcher these words, that they're showing in the being in each other's minds as they know where to go on defense and how to pick up players. Something that here Nexus is showing that it might slow things down a little bit, but it's not going to stop them from scoring. Can they pick that up some more?
So it turns out that the answer to the unsolvable puzzle of Hammertron's defense is a cheeky hammer over the top to the end zone.
I think something that's helping Nexus here as well is that they're actually playing a fairly similar defense in some situations. They are also poaching. They are also doing some switchy stuff downfield. And it does rely on those players who have that experience, who have that real game knowledge and awareness on field of where the good space is, just to sort of preemptively use the future foresight that they have to move and to cut those spaces off, making the other teams take those really small, low margin options.
One thing we saw Cannons do yesterday against Hammertron offense, something that we might see Nexus do as well, was a zone. And initially, well, it seems that Hammertron was moving through it really well. It clamped down later in the game, especially after half. Now, that could be something we could see Nexus pull out of the back pocket. I'm really loving the matchups, though.
Here we go, ball with the disc, looking downfield. Right in the middle of the field, looking.
Slow defense to set.
She didn't have much of a mark. Looking wide.
Nice movement right now. A really deep stack again from Hammertron, which just means it's longer to set up cuts. Players fighting to get open. Ball looking at options, centering to Carter.
Looking downfield again. Perry trying to get free on the far side. Movement to ball, but just out of her hands. Just one hand to it, near her ankles. Just not enough to secure that catch.
And not a lot of support. Again,
Lynch wants to get this show on the road. Sends it over the top to Bogaski. How can we never see where she is and then she's there with the disc in the zone?
What a look. Oh, I love that. Bogaski wide open, that cross field. I'm such a fan of that open side look. Cross field, outside and forehand, snaking into her hands.
Lynch just dying for someone to give her an option. Bogaxi says, that's going to be me. Thank you.
We'll see that one more time. And here, Carter and Ball left out to dry. We saw players fighting downfield to get open, but not that many options.
So much space.
In the meantime, Nexus showing that they can easily find those options. And yeah, another point for Nexus on the board.
Big B trying to put pressure on that, but you can't put pressure on Bogaxi. She's been around the block. She's a veteran, unshakable.
Unshakable.
We see the big banana from Nexus on field. They they gave us a little insight into their line names recently. There's apes, gibbons, and chimps, I believe. Chimpanzees, maybe? Anyway, they know that they want to go ape on field, trying to extend their lead at the moment.
Chimpanzees are apes, though, aren't they?
I mean, look, I'm not a monkey expert.
I'm not a primatologist. Jane Goodall, nowhere to be found. Instead, we have Kelsey Bellick and Beck Soper. Beck Hubin? Beck Soper? Beck Hubin?
Either.
We have the Beck in the commentary booth with us here for this exciting bronze final match. Nexus currently up by 2 after a couple of beautiful breaks there. Some unforced errors that we're seeing from Hammertron. Not a lot developing in the downfield space. It's forcing those handler resets to go backwards and forwards. And just as the fatigue starts to set in, those connections become a little bit less crisp. And Nexus quick to capitalize on those turns.
You know, if there's anything we've seen from Hammertron in this tournament, though, it's that, you know, even if they're behind anything like 6 points, it doesn't matter. They can come back from that.
Perry with the disc.
Perry looking for options, centering to Hogan.
Quackenbush asking for it deep. Sim gets it.
Finding Ball.
Ball looking downfield.
Oh, a nice high release backhand.
Quackenbush, I believe.
These looks are coming out again with
surely.
minimal wind.
Oh, McDonald cutting, timing just not quite right for Quackenbush.
Big fakes.
Back to Ball. She's going to be looking for Hogan. Hogan's looking downfield. We don't have too much developing. That is a pick.
So much separation there.
Yeah.
So just the defense recognizing, it looks like Neil recognizing that she either drew or would have had to have drawn. Oh, sorry, that's Lynch recognizing that she either drew or would have had to have drawn contact in order to keep up and play effective defense.
Yeah, it can be difficult when the stack is moving, particularly trying to position in the end zone to make sure that your cut will avoid them. But I mean, yeah, sometimes spreading out more can help with that, but we'll see how things go.
And against
Ball taking the disc. Oh, that's going to be maybe Jordan.
Oh, love that.
Grace Jordan with a great crossfield shot to the far front corner to take that point in, bring it to a Mahuika 2 against Nexus's 3. Now, Grace Jordan, this is probably going to be her last appearance on a New Zealand national field for a little while. She's heading over to Canada shortly after this tournament, sort of within a month, to get a lot of work experience at Camp Canada, which is just a fantastic opportunity for her. Keep in mind, right, these fantastic athletes are whole, fully intact, fully realized people. We get to see only a small facet of the wonder that comprises their existence. So it's always good to just keep that in mind, that despite the excellence that they show here, it's only a small part of who they are as people.
So we're seeing fans on the sideline. Again, this is the last day, so players playing through a little bit of Dawn's delayed onset muscle soreness. They're pushing through any niggles that they may have developed over the tournaments. And the stands are filling up as well. We're seeing so many more people on the sideline watching, spectating these games, and uplifting the energy on the field as well. As I was mentioning, Hammertron had one heck of a comeback yesterday. I'm not sure what Coach Tim Gurman mentioned to them, what they said to each other, or what switch went off. But such an insane comeback, which is something that, like, kind of a wild card that I'm wondering about in this game. You know, no matter what either team is doing, the mental resilience of both teams to be able to come back through it means that there's no comfortable lead on the board for any of them. Right now, of course, pretty close trading points. We have Nexus, specifically Judd, picking up the disc.
To Langridge in the middle. Back to Judd. Flowing to Terry, back to Judd. Looking downfield, Langridge trying to make herself an option. Hammer to Aston.
Crisp hammer.
Aston takes that without any stress. Looking downfield. Beautiful movement to Phillip, one of the U20s on the squad for Kahu. Langridge again. Great to see her back on the field after injury took her out for a little bit of time. Now they're looking downfield to Judd. Beautiful space.
Such nice movement right now from Nexus as they're
trying to get free.
Showing that they can roll with the punches with these switches and find the open players. What separation from O'Connor.
Huge, especially on Uvelin. Langridge, back to O'Connor.
Loving this offense.
There's a lot. Oh, a high release forehand over the top. It's going to be... Oh, go again. Oh, Aston deciding to take 2 bites of that apple. Counter on her tail.
Seeing it, a point in her hands. And what beautiful offense again. I loved the flowiness that they were showing on the field. So many switches happening, but Nexus just running through it, finding the open players, maybe finishing their cuts or yeah, just showing it's not an issue for them.
That high release about to come out again. Beck, you said it, but we were all thinking it. It's just that little tip. Oh, it's still catchable till it hits the ground. Great work by Aston to close that one out.
I don't think that throw went quite exactly where O'Connor was aiming, but her and Aston played together. They've got so much trust in each other, and just deciding to take it anyway. And Aston proving that trust, well deserved.
Another point for Nexus. So we have now Nexus coming out on defense, and I've really enjoyed the match defense they've been playing. I think it's a really smart decision, again, in these calm options. Players like Ball and Carter on Hammertron, Mahuika, they're so poised and confident in the handler space, and throwing a zone on them in this really calm conditions allows them to be as creative as they want on the field. Also, it recognizes, it gives them, with a relatively short roster, it gives them a chance to rest their legs and instead find the open spaces with thrower-initiated passes and just run a little bit less. Meanwhile, we've got such athleticism on Nexus, and I think that the match defense, just chasing down and forcing everyone to really work hard to get open, is such an effective way to be playing.
Big pull from Lynch. Near the front of the end zone, moving to Lambert. Lambert looking downfield. Finds Ball with a great jink cut. Oh, she was looking at that deep option. McDonald going deep for it, but not.
Nice continuation pass.
Here we go. That's Perry. Perry looking downfield to Lambert again. Not going to get her. McDonald's in the middle, free.
Nice.
Free as a bird.
Clean up.
And that's Preble. Preble looking downfield. Oh, just out of the hands of Lambert.
Yeah, and there was a trailing offhand catch, a difficult one to reel in, and so close to converting that. But Nexus with the disc. Vanderpeet to Lynch.
Dungy looking for Bogatski.
Yeah, fakes and then finds her open again.
Yeah.
Nice switch there by the Mahuika defense.
Bogatski, high release, sending back to Lynch.
Lynch having a small scream on field over to Robertson.
Milton Hall wide open.
Just a mild bit of decision paralysis, I think.
So again, real poachy defense. It's not a zone, it's not match, it's something in between. But I can see Bogatski consistently open on the wing here. Milton Hall looking for options.
Rollman looking for Robertson deep, perhaps. Can't find her. Oh, Claridge. Oh, come on, you know you want to. Yes. That's beautiful poise and beautiful placement from the young Margot Claridge.
And Claridge could have put up such a spicier throw if she wanted to. We know Robertson in that deep space. She can reel in anything. So such a lovely, respectful, clean throw to her for a point. Yeah. And again, in this point, there's a few moments when they were slightly slowing down on offense, when that switchiness, was working, that switchy defense, but at the same time, Nexus here showing it resulted in, when they found the open player, that open player was wide open, boom with Claridge, and then boom again with Robertson. So just taking the moment to wait for those open players to open up, really, to find where they are. And so if Hammertron Mahuika continues to do this, they're going to need to be a bit more heads up, a bit more aware and focused at not letting those players open up, and ensuring that when they are switching, they're fully ensuring that, that the amount of openness is minimal as they're switching between marks.
Yep, difficult to do on a team with such athleticism like Nexus. But I mean, Hammertron has the players to match up. They also have a lot of athleticism, so it's just a fun matchup to watch all round. It looks like we'll have Parsons with the pull. Just waiting for Coach Tim German at the other end to finish having his team chat.
And also just to recognize, this is going to be a game to 15 points, so half will be at 8. Every point, it's always a game to 1. Every time you go on the field, it's what can you do in that moment. Here, it's also at the moment it's going to be a game to 8, game to half. Each team looking to cinch the half first. It's such a strategic position to be in to take half.
Big pull from Parsons to Hogan.
Hogan picking up, looking for Carter.
Robertson so fast on that. Looking, oh, who's that to? Here we go.
Karenza Ellie with the disc on the near sideline.
Back to Hogan, moving to Carter. Carter's looking downfield, and she sends it to Perry, who's going to score that. Beautiful.
I love that. I love that.
That's that same flow I think we saw in the first point from Hammertron. Just beautiful, clean offense, no turns. And that's kind of the high quality expectation we have of the Ultimate at Div 1. And they're really putting on a show for us.
They are. I also want to bring attention to Robertson's mark there. As soon as they pulled the disc, she got down as fast as she could. You know, she put on the wheels to stop that first throw. Oftentimes, regardless of how strong the pull is, Parson, as a really strong puller, getting it far down the field. But if there's not the defense to really get down there as fast as they can, you're allowing those first few passes. You know, as slow as you are to set up, the offense is going to take advantage of that and really take those unchallenged meters as far as they can. So really props to Robertson for recognizing that and trying to shut things down as quickly as she can on defense.
Yeah, a good pull is nothing without a good chase. So great teamwork there to really try and stem the flow of the Hammertron Mahuika offense. They were able to put an emphatic point on the board so that those Nexus breaks do not remain unanswered, which I think is a necessary moment in this match for them.
And Blair, just again to call on your experience, your knowledge, your tenure, you know, with this club within the Hammertron community, Hammertron Mahuika. Can you tell us a bit more about this name?
Yes, absolutely. So our cameraman Rexy's son Felix has been absolutely loving the Māori mythology that we've been spreading around the place. Mahuika, Maui's grandmother, the lady who brought fire and allowed Maui to bring fire to the people before casting it all out and Maui being forced to hide the sparks in the trees. It's that fire that we're seeing from the Hammertron side that's emblematic of their name.
I love that. I love to hear that. We have O'Connor with a disc, finding Aston on the break side. Back to O'Connor in the middle.
Interesting Nexus offense here. We've seen them isolating O'Connor and Aston, having some extra handlers back, just giving them that space. Oh no! Oh, Langridge with the cleanup. That's what those backup players are there for.
Heads up there, and such good heads up.
Judd looking. She wants to reward that. Let's go, Langridge!
Yes, go!
Oh, late decision layout, but it would have been so hard to reel in regardless. Massive effort from Langridge, though.
Love that connection.
Have either of you ever seen Becca Aston not smile? I personally haven't. It's so great to see, just even at the full intensity, just the joy is showing on her face. It's almost like she's constantly on the edge of giggling.
Quakenbush. Straight back to Carter. Looking deep in. Of course she sent it. O'Connor on the hunt, though. She does not want Jordan getting in there. And she says absolutely not.
Oh, my gosh. Carter with almost a full field huck there. Yes, but it's hard to challenge, you know, hard to contest O'Connor's foot speed as she closes in on that, saying, no.
And I think as well, just O'Connor getting into the right lane. So recognizing the flight path of that disc, wasn't going to take it out towards that far sideline for Jordan to get a really good shot at it. So O'Connor being able to hold her line and just focus in on the disc. Really, really comfortable, great defensive positioning, which is exactly what we'd expect from one of these Nexus superstars.
Bringing the disc in now. Let's go. Looking downfield. Looking for Judd.
Great defense right now. Strong
Doesn't
coverage.
find her. Gets Terry. Looking again. Aston looking downfield. We've got Langridge coming up. Not quite creating enough space. Oh, that's a nice big wide swing over to Judd. Judd loves it. Looking downfield. Hard mark with Carter on there. Backwards to Mather. Looks off Phillip initially.
A lot of clogginess in the
out of the
space.
hands of Terry, but straight into the hands of O'Connor. Backwards to Mather. Across to Aston. Big swing, we love it.
That's really necessary.
That's nice space, Langridge.
To break open the movement, so there's a lot more space. It was getting quite clogged in the unders. Finding Judd under. Carter poaching off on the under, allowing O'Connor to open up as an option. O'Connor with a big backhand fake, centering to Mather.
She's still free, she's still there. Terry looking downfield again. Langridge wants it, but creates space for Aston to get it. Sends a big rolly one to Phillip. Layout! Oh, wow, we got a layout, but no, maybe from the player I expected. I mean, who wouldn't really expect Hogan to lay out? Former captain of Mungo Party, a U24 team. Absolute menace on field, always hunting to get Ds.
And just really secure as well, that layout to guarantee that Phillip wasn't going to get a shot to make a play for that disc. I think A good little sacrificial play there by Hogan. Fantastic work by Mahuika to generate a turn.
We'll have ball picking up. She's looking for Carter. Carter trying to get free of O'Connor. Doesn't manage it. Hogan with the discs now. Looking for Jordan. Oh, high release flick over the top. Huge take at peak. Quackenbush. Looking middle. Looking to the side. She's trying to get Hogan. Gets ball instead. Ball's looking downfield.
Preble available on the near sideline. Decides to push far side to Grace Jordan instead.
Jordan's looking for ball again. Ball is going to want to huck out of this, and she does. Huge power position going for McDonald, who, did for Mathers. Amazing play from both of them. That was great positioning from McDonald, but Mathers just managing to sneak in there. She's got a small agile frame and not afraid to use it. I'm not sure if you heard that, but that's the other Nexus Energizer bunny on the sideline. Sam Rollman getting excited for her team. We're just gonna see that continue ramping up across the course of this game. Timeout call by O'Connor. Veteran call from not the oldest veteran player on the field at all. Although selected for Whaitiri along with quite a few of the matchups here.
So just a heads up, during this timeout, we do have a few other games happening right now, and of course, as it's towards the end of the day on Sunday, this is the last day of the tournament. We're getting closer and closer to the final spots, the final rankings, and where teams are going to be matching up, placing, at the end of this tournament. So right now, in the Opens division, we have Dogma versus Brightside, both two teams hailing from Christchurch. No doubt a rumbling matchup between the two, and they're tied right now at 3-3. Wild Bombocats versus Hammertron. That's the Opens team, the counterpart to this women's team here in this matchup. Right now, Hammertron are up 4-3 against the Bombocats. Meanwhile, Balboa versus Oaf is another game that's happening, and we're going to wait to tune in with a score in a bit. In the meantime, just a few of those replays and that highlight reel, that great high take from Hammertron.
So just fantastic as well in our women's division, as exciting a match as we have ahead of us. Mahuika facing off against Nexus from Wellington. Our Canterbury Cannons facing off against Wellington's other women's team, the Amoebas. Cannons currently up by 4 in their game to 15, so the score is 6-2. Cannons looking to take half and really put a pin in a fantastic campaign, hoping to finish 5th here today at Awakarangi Park.
So now looking at the teams on the field right now, as I've mentioned time and time again, because again, I'm still trying to process this emotional trauma of the game yesterday, that tight matchup again between Cannons playing on the other fields against Amoeba and Hammertron. And after Hammertron took half, Cannons just went on a run. I think they scored 6 unanswered points in a row, followed by 6 unanswered points from Hammertron. And I don't know what switch they flicked again, what Coach Tim Gurman may have said to them, but really excited to see, at any point, while Nexus is slightly pulling ahead against score 5-3 right now to Nexus, at any point, we know that Hammertron can flick that switch. So it's a matter of, when either team, we know either team can do that. But out of a timeout, I think it's, from a lot of teams, they might be setting up a play, discussing what they're going to do on defense. But I just get really, I'm like emotionally wary, I think, when Hammertron's coming out of this timeout. Is this going to be it? Is this going to be the moment when they pull away? Absolutely.
Now, I mean, and who can say? I mean, we're about to find out. But one of the key things that was noted to us on the sideline yesterday in the Cannons Hammertron Mahuika semi-final match, the statistics are overwhelmingly in favor of a turn happening after a timeout called, if that timeout is called during the point. Now, we will see whether or not Nexus look to break that here. We see Esther Hastert on a great upline marked by Hogan.
Centering to Judd. Judd now finding O'Connor, and she's got that same smile as Aston does. Good friends off the field, good friends on. Terry finding O'Connor again. And she's big fake. She's moving Carter as her mark back to Terry. Terry looking for options. Some quick handler movement. O'Connor just giving and going. Nice switch by Hammertron. Terry finding Judd on the sideline.
Jordan active on the mark in front of Judd. Judd looking for a big crossfield to O'Connor, looks for Terry instead. A nice laser shot straight through to Phillip over Quackenbush.
And we have a big Poach O'Connor behind as wide open, a forehand. Yes, Terry, launching it deep. Can they make up the yards?
It's gonna fade away right at the end there, giving the disc back to Hammertron. So, statistics proving true yet again.
I love that vision from Terry. She launches it downfield, putting it into space for her receiver, but unfortunately, Langridge just a step behind. I think ball two, they just took a moment to recognize that, but especially Langridge on offense looking to chase it down. Yeah, just a bit slower to run onto it. Nice decision, but it's always easier, you know, if you're throwing into space to ensure that offense is on the same page there and making that connection.
Just a mild miscom there, I think. We did see Langer jink, actually, to try and go downfield just to get the under. But Terry took that as, I'm definitely going deep. Hogan with the disc now, looking downfield. Finds Quackenbush. Looking for ball, surely.
Not a lot of development in the downfield space.
Big huck. Jourdain, surely. Surely. Secured without an issue.
Oh, she's running that one all the way through to Canada, but it's not going to be enough to get a score. Right on the doorstep now, Hogan for a beautiful reset, marked down by Mather.
I love this movement they have. Hogan, Chile centering past a ball. Ball calling a timeout. And I also want to recognize, folks, you know, in the beginning, we introduced ourselves, we said our names. I mentioned that there were 2 other commentators joining me in the booth, and it was rude of me to not also introduce Leon, who you may hear has been chiming in the background as well, especially during some spicy points. He has something to say, and you may hear him chiming in, but 4 of us, of course, in the booth.
I mean, he's just saying what we're all thinking, folks. It's hard to remain composed when you've got such exciting ultimate on display and not let out a cry of your own.
There's a reason we don't have him mic'd up. He does have some spicy, spicy takes. So he's got to learn to rein that in before he's allowed properly in the booth.
And as we come back to the game after this timeout, we'll be back very shortly.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Hammertron looks like they're ready to cheer and get this point underway.
And again, we had Ball calling that timeout. She is such an experienced player we've seen throughout this game, as well as her tenure, her experience, and Ball as an ultimate player in general. She's a dangerous person on defense. She's a dangerous person to have the disc in her hands. You know she's going to be making good decisions, beautiful slicey throws, putting the disc where it needs to be, a bit of a wizard with placing the disc where it needs to be on the field. And again, in such calm conditions, it's a scary place to be on defense.
I think we can see them setting up Kelly Carter in the open side as an ISO.
Now, we actually saw a little bit of this. We saw that little shimmy cut that she made just before the timeout was called, a little bit of lateral bounce. I think she had the shake open, but just mistimed with the timeout call. So the disc is going to be checked back in by Terry in just a few seconds.
Looking downfield, swings,
Nice.
Preble looking downfield. Not quite what she wants, finds Ball. Ball looking for an option. There's lots of movement downfield, but nothing to connect to yet. Hogan with the disc.
I love the safe decision making that they're making right now. You know, there's some cuts opening up downfield, but the handler's just recognizing that they're not 100% options, so looking for the safe swings instead. Carter
getting a gainer to Preble. Preble
Hogan's
might be
with
looking
the
for Hogan. And back to Ball. Looking downfield again. Hogan again.
Yeah.
She's all over everywhere. She's so fast, so dynamic.
Great patience right now.
Getting a little bit stuck on the sideline. Pit called.
Ooh, tension's building. Emotions rising during this long possession as they're knocking on the door of their end zone. They're not suffering from any type of white line fever right now as they're, again, staying really patient. One thing I really liked with that ISO play right now, though, the matchup between O'Connor and Carter. They're going to be playing together on Fight City, the New Zealand women's team, and matching up such a strong matchup here. Carter with the disc, again, O'Connor on the mark, finding ball.
Called.
Now, just an interesting thing to piggyback off what you were saying there, Kelsey, not suffering from white line fever. I think white line fever is an illness that typically affects the thrower first and foremost. So as patient as Hogan was, it's important to recognize that the Mahuika receivers were still targeting that upline space, regardless of where they were on the field.
It's getting really crammed in here. And Hogan with the point. Hogan finally rewarded for those. That bungee cord of cards just constantly one side to the other side. As soon as the disc swings, you see her cutting for that space. It's just really smart ultimate. That space is really appearing and becoming available to the thrower as soon as it swings. And the defense not quite as ready for it as a more open side cut. Just sends it there straight away.
A much needed point to Hammertron. Mahuika, as they are up now they have one more point on the board now, closing it up, and it is 4-5.
Leon currently needing a timeout. Emma Doyle playing nanny duty currently. Thank you, Emma Doyle.
Well, I mean, who can blame him for needing a timeout? We've seen 2 called out in that point alone, and yet the energy is still high here at Awakairangi Park.
So Nexus, again, they've put points on the board. I think they've been doing it so well against the defense that Hammertron has been throwing that kind of got in the heads of Cannons yesterday. So now it's a matter of keeping that energy up, continuing to do what they've been doing well, and not let that pressure off, not take the foot off the accelerator, off that gas pedal. Meanwhile, Hammertron, I think, needing to be, if they can be more aware and tighter with the switchiness that they're doing on defense, I think, again, it's working really well for them. So doing that and then doing what they just did to score that point, that's clean, patient offense. Despite the pressure that Nexus is putting on defense, just finding the right players and making it happen. Ball launching the disc downfield.
That's going to roll.
Nexus to pick up. Lynch on offense.
Lynch looking middle.
Oh, I love that inside.
Straight through to Dungy, fakes off Vanderpeet. Down the middle to Roman, what a gainer. Excellent put from Dungy. Back to Lynch. She looked deep for a second. Back to Roman to Lynch. Sends it downfield to Vanderpeet. Vanderpeet recently moved up from the B team, and she's got an arm on her. We haven't seen it yet, but hopefully later in the piece. Parsons with a disc.
Finding Lynch, such a nice swinging movement right now from Nexus as they're finding the open players. Again, just easily as the switches are happening, opening things up. Dungaree finding Rollman.
Dungy to Roman to Lynch. Lynch looking at Vanderpeet. And over the top a slice, but just not enough air under that one. Perry says, that'll be mine, thank you. Despite what a dynamic receiver as Roman is in the zone.
And I love that throw, the decision, because it has the angle on it, it's dropping down, but when you throw throws like that with angles, that outside and forehand, it needs a little bit more power in this situation to drop behind the defender into the hands of Roman. So yeah, coming in around, a little bit more sauce on it.
Initiation from Houvelin as ball.
Hits it middle, looking
that's such a
deep.
nice throw.
We know that she's got a cannon on her as well. Back to ball. Looking for Perry perhaps. No, looking for her break.
Big shoulder fakes as she's trying to move Rollman on the mark.
Ellie to Perry.
Nice movement from
Perry
Hammertron.
She's going to be coming maybe downfield to ball. Oh, send it. Yes, you see Houvelin put her hand up. How can you say no to that?
And we're no defense in sight as Houvelin runs onto it easily. Such a beautiful point from Hammertron. And I love that intensity that Nexus was struggling to match on defense. That energy and intensity is really what got the point for them. And lovely to see so many players across the team with a disc in their hands as well. Such trust in every player on the field to move it well.
I feel like a lot of Hammertron's play is really, really good at putting just leading Sim ball into space, which is where she just loves to be. Putting her in power position, making her job easy to huck it deep. And it really just opens up the field whenever she does.
Especially when you've got a receiver like Houvelin who's just so explosive and dominant in the end zone. One of the just fantastic isolation cutters from her tenure in Blueberries when she was living in Auckland before the move down to Hamilton. She did the same work there that she's doing now, just almost untouched in the end zone. I mean, you asked before, Beck, who's marking Houvelin? And I think when you get the separation that she can, the answer is nobody.
Also, just a quick moment to draw attention to the score. It's now 5-5. We have a rumbling, tight matchup between both teams. So Hammertron has now eked out a few more of those points.
I believe that's 3 on the trot.
I believe so. The score was 5-2 at one point. We've seen it answer with a hold into back-to-back breaks as Hogan sends up a pull for Hammertron to come down on defense.
That's going to be Neil fielding the disc, looking for Parsons.
And Parsons, she had a fantastic game yesterday. She was such a pivotal player in not only the short unders getting open, but also opening up the field with her long hucks. We'll hopefully see more of that today. Neil with the disc, engaging Parsons as the reset.
Just a little bit of an execution error there. Pressure put on by Quackenbush, maybe. Carter's going to be fielding the disc. She wants Hogan. I would too. Oh, I could see that pocket coming a mile away.
Beautiful. Oh, my
and that's
heart.
4 on the trot. Hammertron proving they might be down, but never out. I think we said it yesterday, ahead or behind, they always grind. They're just such a hard-working team.
Such a hard-working team. And such a beautiful connection. I think also a really strong recognition from both players where Hogan knows what Carter is looking for. And Carter just so stoked to see that again. As Beck just said, can you say no to that option opening up? Really great execution and precision on that hook as well. We have a timeout on the field. So that is now 4 unanswered points. So, sorry. 4 unanswered points as Nexus is going to have a quick introspective look, no doubt, into what they can do better on offense. They're receiving the disc. They've had quite a few options now. And what can they do to clean up what they've been doing? Now, if you were Coach Johnston, what would you be saying right now to the team, to Nexus?
I mean, I think he's just trying to steady the ship, reassure them, look, we've shown that we can put the pressure on as well. Hammertron has stepped up. We need to step up to that same level, and hopefully we'll see more of that. I mean, it's like in the Cannons Hammertron game. There was that halftime. Cannons coach had a real chat to them. They had a real together moment, and then they really huge lift out of half, but then lost momentum towards the end of the game. We're going to see whether that momentum shift can happen here for Nexus, whether they can lift and start clawing points back.
And really, I think the key thing is here for Nexus as well, being 1 down after 4 on the trot from Hammertron, they need to put on a strong line here, either to quickly close one out and tie the game, or even if they give the point back to Hammertron, they've got to just make them work for it. I think that's one of the big things. We saw a quick turnover there, and Kelly Carter put the shot in deep to Hogan for the score. If Hammertron are made to work harder and harder for those breaks, it's going to be a little bit discouraging. That fatigue's going to start to set in. Nexus doesn't have to win the game on the next point. Even if they give up another break, it isn't going to be the end as long as they make it a hard-fought break, one that can put a little bit of just take a little bit of the gas or the steam out of the Hammertron engines.
Absolutely. And, at the same time, when you're on offense and you're turning the disc the way Nexus is turning it, I think it's a really positive space to be. So that last turnover that Neil had with the misexecution, it just looks like the disc caught on her hand. That's exactly how you want to be making turnovers, because you can control that and you can fix that, as opposed to, for example, the other team's defense just putting the pressure on, making run-through Ds and generating those turnovers. You can't control that, but you can control execution, finding the right players, cutting to get open, and making smart decisions. So I think Nexus is in a really good space to make that change as well. We'll see if they can this point. Terry to pick up the disc and centering to Judd.
Staley staying wide. Looking back to Terry. Judd back to the middle. There was a little gap there. She sends a big one. Massive to O'Connor. Big trust in that. And they play a huge grab. Contested space with Quackenbush. Looking back for Aston. The dynamic duo at it again. Looking downfield, she wants her reset. Terry says, here I am. Looking wide across to Staley. Staley's looking downfield. Oh, she had to think about that inside to her Langridge. She's going to get Aston instead. Aston looking for Langridge.
Beautiful opening cut by Aston. I love how she just opened up the width of the field there. Right now, Nexus has been doing such a good job.
One-handed snag and a big Hirely's backhand, but with a lot of zing on it, straight to Mather's hands. And that's calm, composed offense. That's a clean O-hold, and we love to see it. And surely they'll put on a similar line. We want to see it. We want to see a clean D-hold as well.
That's exactly it. With the game tied, Nexus having managed to get that hold, so they've put a stop to that Hammertron momentum. From 4 on a bounce to a quick offensive hold there by Nexus. If they can really pour on the pressure on this next defensive point, they will be able to swing the pendulum of Ultimate back in the other direction.
That was such beautiful placement, just over the top. Similar to that miss execution before, that rolly forehand that sort of just had a little bit too short. It was a little bit too short, a little bit too much angle on it. That one much more beautifully weighted. And I mean, in wind like this, and I say in wind like this, when there is no wind, I mean, you can throw any options you like. Wellington being one of the, I would say, indoor ultimate capital powerhouses in the scene. They've got a lot of practice at those kinds of throws, as well as ones in a lot of in stronger wind when it is here. So I want to see them break out maybe some more expansive options, some more versatile stuff, because we know they've got it. We just want to see it.
Lynch with the disc in hand. Nexus now with an opportunity to play defense, which is an exciting place for them. You know, they've put the point on the board. That's exactly why they took the timeout. That's what they wanted to do. Lynch launches the disc downfield.
Heaps of loft on that.
Ball to receive, and she'll be swinging to Hogan. Off to the races. Nice cuts coming out of the sack. Houvelon receiving the disc downfield, engaging deep.
She took 2 looks at it, couldn't
Hogan,
get it.
and centering again to ball.
Props to the mark on that disc, stopping those going across. Bogakski's versus Houvelon, both veterans. Oh, maybe a little bump on the mark, no call happening. Ball with the disc, looking middle. Hogan going down the line, Rollman trying to put pressure on it, not able to stop that going. Hogan looking, she's signaling what she wants. Can't get it, gets ball instead. Ball's in the middle of the field, looking downfield. Robertson on mark. She's looking around for Hogan for a reset, gets it. Oh, that's a really, really nice placement. And Lambert just extension grab, gets both hands to it, keeping it safe.
So that's going to bring Mahuika 1 point away from taking half in the bronze final, a race to 15 at Awakairangi Park.
And we see Nexus coming on field, making sure that their team energy is staying high. We hear cheers from their teammates, keeping everyone in high spirits despite going down on that point as well.
One more time, ball with the disc because she's looking for options. We know quite a few of those players. We saw Houvelon before looking for deep options. Ball here engaging the reset. Really safe decision. Hogan, slicey backhand. I love the way she releases those discs. Such a strong execution. And Hammertron matching the point that Nexus just put on the board. Keeping the intensity on, keeping that fire hot. And yeah, now it's a race to half. So what happens is we have Hammertron, Mahuika down here, Carter with the disc, and if they can grind through this defensive play, generate a turnover, and then offensively put one on the board, they will take it. Meanwhile, Nexus has a shorter road ahead of them, at least for this point, coming out on offense. We expect offensive lines to hold. We expect them to score the point. So Nexus with a slightly longer road ahead of them. But yeah, really exciting place to be in, such a close game, and a race right now to close out the half. No doubt we'll see more switchiness on defense. Hammertron coming out and looking to trade those players. They've done such a good job at tightening up their marks. And Nexus doing, I think, a really good job. I love the way they've been swinging to open up the field. There's been so much congestion when they keep it on the same side. But a lot of trust, a lot of support, quick dishes when they need to bail out players. So we'll see more of that. Carter right now launching the disc downfield. And it looks like
Neil to field it.
Neil will be picking up.
She's got Lynch in the middle, takes her straight away. Big fake out towards Terry, but slices through the middle. Lynch to Lynch action. Neil looking down first with Staley. She's asking Lynch, look back at me from downfield. Neil to Staley. Trying to find some space in the middle. Oh, just a little miscomm there. Lynch looking to cut down the line where Staley thinking she was coming back for her. Hogan with the disc now. Lynch on mark. Big pressure mark. Throwing feet, throwing hands. Over to Carter. Carter looking down for it. Oh, we see a hand down in the deep from Quackenbush saying, I could get that one. Hogan again. Hogan looking. Finds Perry. We've got Bigby who's gone deep. Needs to come under though. Swings to Hogan. Carter, big gainer, big swing, lots of width. Sends it's that width That width makes that second pass just so easy.
Just a fantastic performance there. I mean, that's why when you have a court appearance in Hamilton, they make you swear on a photo of Kelly Carter.
A great point by Hammertron to take half. Such an exciting place for them to be. And yeah, such an exciting matchup between both teams. That misfire one more time. We're seeing, the cracks creeping into the facade for Nexus. But we'll be right back after half. We'll leave you guys here for the rest of the second half of this exciting rumbling matchup for third place. Again, Nexus hailing from Wellington and Hammertron Mahuika. Until then, matewa.
Kia ora koutou, haere mai. Welcome back to this exciting fourth match here at New Zealand Ultimate Championships 2024 at Awakairangi Park. I'm here in the booth, Beck Sofa, here with my lovely co-host.
Kia ora, I'm Kelsey Bielik.
And we're here seeing the second half of this electric matchup. Nexus originally going up 3-0, and Hammertron proving like they could to get into their semi, that they can bring it back from quite a few points down. Getting, I think, 4 points, maybe even 5 on the trot. It was electric play, heaps and heaps of pressure, and we're going to see more of that this half. We're going to see if Nexus can answer. That's going to be
Parsons with the disc, centering to Staley. Staley back to Parsons.
Looking for Lynch in the middle. Gets her. Lynch looking downfield. O'Connor streaking away, but Kelly Carter getting a piece of that. O'Connor says, I'll take it anyway.
O'Connor firing to Robertson. Robertson with the disc, looking for options.
Big
Players
gainer.
coming downfield, trying to give her those options. O'Connor with the disc, taking to the skies.
Athletic grab, one-handed.
Safe swing to Parsons.
Please make sure your pacemakers are adjusted correctly at home, folks.
Parsons to O'Connor. Teammates from the mixed season as well in the club, the newly formed club Big. Looking back to O'Connor.
And of course, just a nod here, we're joined by Blair Monroe as well.
Back to Parsons. Parsons looking to create maybe some distance.
Staley with a super dump behind her, but still some options opening up downfield. O'Connor with the disc, some slow movements with some heavy, just strong, stifling defense from Hammertron. But again, a great patience right now from Nexus. O'Connor faking the break side, finding Parsons on the open side.
Hurley was there as an option, but perhaps not enough separation from Quackenbush.
Not many-
Parsons aggressively faking O'Connor, saying, no, I don't want you there. I want you to move. And O'Connor does. Here we have that go back between them.
Not many cuts opening up right now in the deep space, back in the end zone. Again, Hammertron doing a really good job of shutting those down, so that a lot of the handlers' swings, they're really relying on those to move the disc right now. O'Connor giving an open option, Parsons with the disc still.
That's two. There's some sort of, I believe, perhaps there might have been a call, and then I think perhaps, as often does happen, in the heat of the moment, perhaps the person on the mark didn't drop the stall count. So there is a violation called. I imagine that is what's happened there.
So now, again, both players on the field will need to discuss through what they thought happened, just resetting the disc there. Parsons now looking for options.
Oh, that slicey. Whoa! Who picked that up?
Incredible cleanup.
Oh, I think it was intended for O'Connor, having to go up so high to try and get it. Lynch instead getting it at grass level.
So we mentioned before, I know there was a little hiccup with the same slicey outside in forehand, and it dropped too soon. I think Carter got the clean up there. But here, showing a little too far. Yeah, Carter with a touch on the disc. The hand block not strong enough to hit it down. But I love that it went this time it was an overshoot. But that's the importance of backing up our teammates in the end zone and providing that support. Lynch with the point.
Look, I know we've seen a success rate of 2 out of 3 from that slicey forehand. I don't hate it, but what I would love to see more is them really swing over further to the side of the screen, the field closest to you at the bottom of your screen. Just making more use of the field so that way they can get to this extra space over here, because they're often looking just really crowded over there. And with Hammertron doing that sort of switchy, junky look on defense, just making them move, making them look at something else rather than this one corner, one half of that zone would, I think, really open things up for Nexus. That's what I'd love to see, but that's for offense. Here we are on defense instead.
So now, yeah, Nexus, really great to see right out of half. They're putting that point on the board. Again, Mahuika from Hammertron has put, they've taken half, but Nexus coming out. This is also where we saw Hammertron kind of slipping up yesterday, coming out of half. We'll see what they can do. Ball swinging to Hogan, and a really deep stack. Huvalon looking for the deep look, coming open on the break side.
Mark from Langridge making that under difficult. Ball. Great grab by Hogan. Hogan looking again. She wants something.
Finding ball around. Can she get there? She can.
Easily. Here we go. Jourdain. Jourdain back to ball. Oh! Langridge wanted a nibble at that. Didn't get it. Hogan.
Hogan looking for options. Finding McDonald's. Oh. Nice movement. Hogan now looking for options. Oh! Picked up! It's biting ankles. It's also biting the hands of that Was
Jordan?
it Hogan? Jordan, thank you
Jordan,
with the points.
massive.
Huge play by Jordan to clean that one up. Scraping knuckles against the turf to keep that one in hand and put a board, one more on the board for Mahuika to keep it at a 9-7 game, a 2-point lead. Not a wide cushion, not a comfortable cushion by any stretch of the imagination, particularly after we saw Nexus open up the game with a very, very strong 5-2 lead, 3 defensive breaks on the bounce.
And you might hear little Leanna something to say about that as well. You know, the matching intensity, the matching pressure. Love to see Hammertron cleaning that up. Again, it bites ankles, but it also bites hands with that throw. You know, at this level, when throws can be challenging to reel in, it's great to see, you know, you can trust your receiver to reel in anything. A nice connection and an incredible cleanup there. She stays on her feet as well. How did she do that?
I think it was the Naruto run right towards the end. Big spread hands behind the back, trying to throw out the air brakes for
I thought it made you faster when you ran like Naruto.
yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Air Jordan over here.
Yeah, so now Nexus to respond on offense. They've been playing such a beautiful offense, waiting for those options to open up again, looking to just clean up some of the misfires that they've had earlier in the game. The disc goes up, and we have Lynch to field, supported by Dungy. Finding a Bogatsky on the sideline. Nice, quick movement, and I love this. The stall isn't even at 0 as the disc is moving down the field. Vanderpeet.
Big B tried to take a bite out of that one, but Vanderpeet keeps it in hand, finds Bogatsky on the far sideline, marked by Preble, puts a huge shot up! Roman!
Beautiful, beautiful catch. Roman, you know, I don't want to detract from her speed, from her ability to take to the skies, but she's so good at reading the disc. And why rely on athleticism when you can intelligently just see it into your hands, know where it's going to be. She's in position. I'm not sure if the disc was meant for her there, if that huck was meant for her going up. But one more time, looking for options, the fake open side undercut. A nice connection there. And then it's so hard to defend against those open side throws that are fading over to the break side.
The one thing that I really want to highlight about Sam Ruhlman, and just to go off what you were saying there, Kelsey, it's very rare to see her make a catch where she doesn't use 2 hands. And that might not seem like a huge deal, but if we look at a lot of the open divisions, we see some of these big dynamic catches, their one-hand grabs, their big, you know, huge leaps into the sky to pull it down. But Sam Ruhlman, almost characteristically, taking the disc with 2 hands, which is just a testament to her ability to get into the best position to attack it. And it's a combination of that speed, that agility, that athleticism, but also that awareness, that vision, the ability to read the disc as it comes down. So that was a great point by Nexus to bring it back to a 1-point game. We're going to see the disc fade out towards the near sideline. Bricked by Kelly Carter.
Yeah, she'll be fielding it, bringing it to the middle. Yeah, an uncharacteristic out-of-bounds throw. It can be really strategic to put it just on the sideline. It makes it difficult to work with the rest of the field. However, bricking it, an intelligent option here, just opens up that space. It's why pulling it, if you can land it on the sideline, it's so strategic and so challenging to pinpoint it on the field. But yeah, out-of-bounds allows the offense, in this case, Hammertron, Mahuika, to just have so much more of the field to work with and get set up on offense. Looks like a side stack here. Huvalon isolated on the open side. Hogan centering back to Carter.
And against that zone defense that we're seeing come down from Nexus, it looks like that side stack's going to collapse into a bit of a horizontal. But Huvalon in isolation manages to get the hammer anyway, cutting right through across to Sophia Hall.
I have no words, only sounds from my excitement.
Just like Leon. It's Hogan on the far sideline with a big fake finds McDonald center field as that zone looks to pin down the Hammertron Mahuika offense. Hogan with a quick give-go, chips through to Grace Jordan, cutting back across the field to find Kelly Carter.
And it looks like Nexus offense struggling to get placed here. I love that slicey look. Oh, that was so close. Yeah, trying to find, just snaking through so many people, and look at that low release. And there were 2 potential receivers there, but unfortunately no one in that right position.
Yeah, I think basically halfway between Lambert and Jordan would have just been A little bit of communication, maybe a step from either of them towards the disc might have had it, but it's really, really hard when you sort of see one of your players about 10 meters away from you and the disc 5 meters away as to who's the best person to make a play for it. We've seen what happens in our previous matches when there's not a lot of communication with the players and you end up finding a bit more collision than we'd like to see at this level.
Lynch to Lynch. Sisters on the team, finding Parsons again on the break side. Parsons faking options.
Sends a big one. Not enough juice in it. Is Roman going to be able to get it
Roman.
over? Not quite over Carter.
It's tough. You know, when you're a strong receiver like Roman, still with Carter in that space, is such a strong, I want to say defender, but obviously offender as well, as she's going to pick up, and we've seen her put so much out on the field. A lovely look, but again, great defense by Carter.
She's dangerous everywhere. Hogan looking for, just out of the hands of McDonald. She's shaking her head. She's not happy with that. Parsons looking deep. Lynch. Parsons looking for Roman, perhaps. Not quite enough separation. She's wary of Carter after that last D, as she should be.
Lynch looking for options. Parsons clearing out and opening up a nice swing look to Roman.
Oh, beautiful.
I love
Hurley
that.
with the disc, looking for Lynch.
Looks like a switching.
Sends a big pivot straight into the hands of Robertson. That's lovely.
Looks like a switching mark there. I think that swing to the open side, finding Roman under, it looks like that was to the open side, but then it was a shift looking like it was forcing away from the screen. Again, that looks like an open side throw, but here the mark is setting up. I'm not sure if there was confusion on the force or just incredible breakthrows.
I mean, it could even be that there are, I know Berries is going with a specific force middle, and perhaps Hammertron might be toying around with something similar, sort of trying to funnel the disc through the middle of the field to where they're stacking all their defense. Likely we'll see that later in the final.
And force middle can do such great things. It can be challenging to make continuation cuts off of force middle. It really stops a lot of the down the sideline throws. And just to nod to the type of defense they're playing, which is really kind of junky, poachy, heads up fluid, a force middle could work really well with that as well. Just really junking up, just making that offensive flow difficult to attain.
Momentum maybe slightly shifting, but we'll see in this point whether it's going to be at a pace that's perhaps quick enough for Nexus to make a comeback. It's going to be Judd with the disc, with the pull. Coach Tim Truman still on field, still chatting with his teammates. I'm sure they're talking about specific matchups and specific plays that they need to try and shut down.
So again, Judd with the disc, and the score tied at 9s. It's such a tight game. So exciting to see them trading. Judd launching it downfield.
Big pull. Never be tricked by that small frame. She's got a big arm. Back to Hogan. Speaking of small frames with big arms, Hoovlin. Oh, looking deep. Not quite enough separation for her liking.
And it looks like a zone now that Nexus is throwing as they're clogging up some continuation looks, clogging up that middle space. Not an issue for Bola. She finds it on the sideline. She's running onto it, and it's a point.
Beautiful.
My goodness.
Just, they've played together so much. You can ride that line as much as you'd like with those two. They'll still keep it in bounds.
And just a score update. So again, Cannons versus Amoeba, counterparts on the other field. Cannons from Christchurch, Amoeba, another Wellington club team. Right now, they're matching up for the 6th game, and Cannons are up 13-7, game to 15. So it looks like Cannons, well ahead. But yep, still anyone's game with 2 more points for them to score, and Amoeba again a little bit farther behind, but again game to 15. Meanwhile, Dogma versus Brightside, that's the 3rd, 4th match on the other field. Christchurch is going to take 3rd, Christchurch is going to take 4th. Which club is going to do it? Right now Dogma are up 10-7. Wild Bumblecats again versus Hammertron, that's the Opens team, the counterpart to Hammertron Mahuika here on this field. Wild Bumblecats up 11-8, and that is the 5th, 6th game.
Now, speaking of Brightside, I hope Coach Cam Bennett for Brightside bought a lotto ticket last night. He was telling us on Friday he was anticipating seeing a Wildcats group final, a Dogma Brightside 3rd, 4th, and a Bombercats Hammertron 5th, 6th in the Open Division.
Wow, he called it.
I know, right? 3 for 3. He's going for the full trifecta, but nobody could have predicted the match that we're seeing in front of us right now. Nexus,
Kelly.
borderline neck and neck with Hammertron. It's only 1 point in it. Nearly down pull, but managed to secure.
Lynch again. She's got a smile on her face, as she usually does when playing. Sends one to Claridge. Looking downfield to Rollman. That's nice. Kelly got a right on her tail.
Great footwork.
Lynch! Oh! Just a little bit overthrown by Rollman.
Too saucy.
I'm really loving seeing Rollman take some of these more expansive options when she does get free downfield. That one slightly overcooked for Lynch, but I'm hoping we're going to see more of it. She is in her throwing era, as we know.
Ball with the disc, looking for inside break options. Great mark by Lynch right now. Open side swing to McDonald. Marked by Bogatsky. McDonald faking the under. They've lost some yards closer to their end zone, finding Carter on the inside pass.
Huge. She's going to send that.
Yes,
God,
Kelly.
she's got an arm on her. Quackenbush trying to get under it. Perry looking for backup. Oh!
Great coverage there.
What's that? That's Margot Claridge, one of the youngest players on the team, getting amongst, getting a D.
Yeah, great read by her there. I mean, good positioning, great legs, a challenging matchup. It's 50-50, but yep, just running in front of the disc to get the D. Parsons with disc in hands. Nexus now on offense. A lot of open space in the middle of the field. Bogatsky running to cover that. Can she get it?
Oh, massive bid. She gets a hand to it, but not enough.
I wanted her to catch it.
Bogatsky never afraid to go to ground, but that one was asking a lot.
Nice.
Ball with the disc.
I love that catch.
McDonald probably looking for ball again. Roman making it hard. Oh, making it really hard. She's having to go downfield on a high stall count. Oh,
I love that decision, though. Oh,
I
it
don't
looks
know
like
who-
a
I
stall
don't-
has been called on the field. So again, high stall count. She's looking at just releasing the disc and having that that forehand downfield look fading to the break side really puts her team in a good situation to catch it. Snakes past too many people, no one quite in position to reel it in. But I do like that veteran decision to release it there.
I don't know if Claridge got a hand to that one as well, but she was the closest to it out of all the players down in that end zone.
Double D.
Double D.
Yeah, it's something Nexus is going to need to recognize. She's out here stopping every throw they're putting up.
Here we go. Vanderpeet with the disc. Oh, Rollman with separation. Tempting, but Ball and Carter trailing her. Vanderpeet really needs to take an option. Gets Lynch. Lynch moves to Bogatsky. Lynch again. That quick give-go movement that both of them are. Oh,
yes.
That's nice. Almost a poached D in there. Oh, that's nice. Keep going for it. You can get that. Oh, what hands? She goes to ground to keep it up. Amazing. That's Dungy. Dungy.
Finding Vanderpeet. Vanderpeet censuring to Parsons. Parsons to Lynch. Nice movement from Nexus right now. Lynch looking for options. Swinging wide against Vanderpeet.
Sends a backhand. Roman. I'm dying. Look, I know. Dying for Claridge to maybe.
Yes.
To get the point. Yes. Rewarded for that intense defensive play. One of the youngest players on the team also manages to get the score. I love to see it.
Margot Claridge with bookends. And it's a bit more than bookends when you've got two defensive plays on that point. It's not just the one. She didn't just get the D and the point. She got two defensive plays.
got two.
One more time. She does such a great job of running onto the disc there and catching it.
Massive. We will see her sister as well later in the women's final on Misfits.
I was
just
going
a
to
talented
ask.
family.
I was going to ask if what the relation was between Gabby Claridge, who's just so fantastic for the Misfits side. And so that's going to be enough to
Gabe
tie the...
Claridge.
Gabe,
Yep.
sorry, my mistake. Sincerest apologies when she goes to watch this back. Just absolutely fantastic work there by Nexus to keep the game tied. So we're on serve now as a race to 15. If we just see holds from here on out, the game is going to go to Hammertron. So Nexus really need to kick it up on defense to widen the gap, to give themselves an edge to close this out and walk home with a bronze medal.
Johnson will get himself off the field. Might have been calling a line, might have been calling a play. Might have just been, being present for his team. A new coach to Nexus this year. They've had quite a range of coaches in recent years. Nick Pano, even the current coach of Whaitiri, the New Zealand women's team, formerly one of their coaches. So just great to see them just getting a lot of exposure to different coaches, different talent. That's going to be Hogan with the disc.
Meanwhile, it looks like Nexus is coming down potentially into, definitely a zone offense. It smells a bit zony out there. And Hammertron is setting up in a vertical stack still. I'm wondering if they've called a string play that they might be sticking with. Now they're melting into a zone offense.
Yeah, they're recognizing they're adjusting straight away. Lambert with the disc, looking downfield. Hogan's there, but difficult throw to make. Carter with the disc again. She makes the throw. Down to Hogan, looking for Lambert.
Oh, I love that step out. A nice look coverage by Staley. Now we've got Robertson on the disc. Carter looking for options. A high release fake. Hogan.
Looking
And a really
down.
saggy
Yeah.
zone right now. So again, in the cup, they're well off of the players, stopping the downfield movement, but allowing the swings.
Just really trying to stifle that downfield momentum. Preble with the disc now. Looking middle for Carter. Carter snags it next to the... Lambert takes 2 bites, manages to keep it in hand.
Doing such a great job of breaking through. We saw a few cracks in the cup. They're breaking through the cup. Hogan, the prime example right there, just snaking it through the defense.
When you've got an absolute arsenal of throws like Carter and Hogan, sneaking it through. They're basically
Yes.
huge.
Oh, yes, to
Hooveland.
Hooveland. Can she get there?
Oh, Terry tries to put pressure on it, but I mean, difficult to put pressure on diamonds.
Great closing speed. I love that Terry's there. She's chasing it. She knows where she needs to be, but also big respect, props to keeping it clean. You know, no physical contact there. Running onto the disc. Hooveland taking it, and such a great job. She's facing the disc as she sees it into her hands. One more time.
Hungry Hooverland. I think that's at least her third point of the game there. What a fantastic,
Hat
just
trick.
Here we go.
yeah, just fantastic positioning every
Huge
single
crossfield.
time on offense.
Look, it's difficult space to get the disc into from the entire other side of the field, like that close to the zone. It's really difficult to go crossfield like that, especially with the zone spread so far out. Really having to like pinpoint accuracy, just drop it on top of her head. But I mean, if you've got Kelly Carter on the other end of the disc, she's doing it, and just no sweat.
No sweat, no problem. Hammertron like a machine as they're grinding out these points. They will be coming out now on defense. We see Hogan with the disc and Nexus down there discussing what their offensive option will be. It was really interesting just bringing the attention back to when Hammertron came out offensively that point. They were still in a vertical stack, and sometimes when defense switches things up, if you've called a string or called a set play, it can be really beneficial to run through it or try to run through it anyway, regardless of a varying defense on it. But yeah, just such poised and calm zone offense. I love to see Hammertron doing that. Hogan with the pull.
Massive disc.
Terry to be picking up as a handler, fielding to Lynch.
Lynch to Terry. Terry looking for execution error right behind the back of Lynch. She
See,
can't
like,
change direction quick enough to try and clean that up.
Sad. It's sad. Hogan picking up.
It's not the memory she's going to be most fond of looking backwards.
But it is going to be an opportunity for Hammertron. Hooverland on an isolation
oh,
cut.
big
with
break
the
from Hogan.
inside
Hooverland,
break.
surely beautiful work.
Straight through to Bigby for the score to widen the game up. We're going 12-10. Hammertron Mahuika over Nexus at the moment.
I think we've seen this happen a lot with Hammertron's a D line, is when they do get a D, they love going quick. They love being decisive about what's happening next. They don't want to wait for the defense to set up. And it's really rewarding to see that pay off for them, as it should, because, I mean, if you've got the players there, if you're ready to go, just go.
So right now, also important to recognize the way that Nexus is messing up, and we saw this before. It's little misfires. It's not big hucks, you know, and contested defensive plays. They're more often than not small looks. They're resets, they're undercuts, and they're just slight misfires, misreleases, going a little bit too far, maybe throwing behind the player. And again, it's a good place to be on offense when you're making mistakes like that, because you can fix those. Those are within the realm of your control to fix and change. But yeah, more often than not, from some of the newer players as they're up and coming, gaining experience. So maybe, you know, anytime you're making those little errors, potentially mental toughness and resilience, recognizing that and knowing that you can clean it up, especially in a hotly contested, pressured match like this.
They really are running out of time to fix it, though, with Hammertron closing in on 15 points. That's going to be Parsons with the disc, looking for Lynch. Lynch, Parsons. Parsons again. Here we go, back to Lynch. Oh, she thought a little bit about it. It's difficult to say no when you see Roman streaking deep, but I think they're going for nice safe throws. Bogatski with a huge gainer under. Lynch again. Oh, yes! Big put from Steph Lynch, looking for Claridge. Oh, she gets her!
Incredible read by Claridge.
What a read! Oh my
She's
gosh.
having a highlight reel-worthy game.
She's having a game. She's having such a spicy game. We love to see it. Hugs all around from the Nexus line. Lynch knowing that, you know what, this is the time to do it. If the option's there, doesn't matter necessarily as much about the experience levels. If the skills are there, we're taking it.
Yeah, hucks and hugs are the watchwords of the day for Nexus as they bring it back within one for the bronze final of the 2024 Ultimate Championships here in Wellington.
So as Beck just mentioned, it's a game to 15, and while you can sometimes take some time to figure things out, you can, just concede a few points, knowing, just figuring out what a zone might be throwing or what you're doing wrong and ensure those connections are dialed. Right now, towards the end of the game is not when that can be happening. You need to have it dialed in by now, and there's just limited points. It's, right now it's a game to 3. In Nexus's case, 4. They need to continue that energy and continue that pressure. I'm such a fan of those deep looks. We know so many players, Lynch, Parsons, Terry, can put those up. And I'd like to see more of those. They've had such flowy movement, but clearly with such strong receivers, it would be so exciting to see some of those deep looks, similar to how Hammertron has been putting up and a lot of success on their end. Right now, we'll be seeing if they can put up more of those looks. Lynch with disc in hand, she'll be launching it, ripping it downfield with a beautiful pull, and it looks like Simone Ball will be fielding, centering to Hogan.
Hogan looking back. It looks like that zone's back in the mix. Ball over the top. That's really nice. Will Hurley see it in time? No. Uvelin keeps her feet in and sends one deep immediately. Lynch on the hunt. Doesn't manage to stop Jordan. Reeling that in though. One-handed grab.
And it's tough when there's so much pressure on you as the deep. There's been a travel call on the throw. And it did look like I noticed when Huvelon was slowing down, she took a few extra steps, but it looks like O'Connor is calling the throw itself. And I have seen Huvelon in warm-ups drag her pivot foot a little bit on those hucks. Maybe that was the case here. I didn't have an eye on it. An incredible take regardless.
God, what a grab.
And a necessary one as well, considering the context of a travel call. If it's not a completion, it leads to a turnover, even though other stoppages or other calls might lead the disc to go back.
Oh, yeah. You can see with her feet maybe there was some movement there. Regardless, here we are. Huvelin again. Looking for ball. Oh, Jordane's trying to sneak for that front corner. She wants the disc anyway. She needs to be rewarded, and she is.
And you know what they say, folks. They say,
so nice, they scored it twice.
Great point to Hammertron on the field there. A beautiful reconnection.
I love that she was still rewarded for her excellent cutting around the zone. She is proving in this game to be a real threat that Nexus is going to have an answer for at some point. They are getting close. They're getting sniffs at where she's catching the disc. You see that first catch that she made, despite the fact that it went back because of the travel. Just contested space with Steph Lynch, one of the Mahuika players on Nexus. Just still snagging it anyway. We'd love to see it. Zoom in on her. Yeah. Show the crowd what they want to see. In the meantime, we will have Nexus with their entire team on field, just having a chat, making sure that the line that's on feels fully supported, fully ready to go, put it all on the line, because we are really getting down to the do or die, nitty-gritty parts of the game. This could potentially be the last 2 points of the entire tournament for these two teams, unless Nexus manage to really just clean up and put pressure on when they are on defense. With
the established legacy of the Nexus club, I really don't think they're going to be content to just let those next 2 points go to Hamilton. I think we're going to see some of the best ultimate from them throughout this entire tournament over the next few points. They aren't going to let Hammertron walk away with medalware without a huge fight in the late stages of this match.
With the disc, Vanderpeet moving to middle, nice movement. Aston with the disc now, moving to Langridge. Langridge looking, she is known for a little high release backhand, doesn't send it in this case, moves to Parsons. Oh, O'Connor with acres of space. She wants to send a huck, and she does. It's really big. There's going to be a lot of bodies under it. Roman out of her hands, just off the tip. She had to go early. She was put under a lot of pressure by the defense. She's not going to love that looking back at it, but her positioning was perfect.
Absolutely. I mean, she read that like a book and just got into great position underneath it. Once again, I said before, it's very rare to see Sam Ruhlman go for a disc with only one hand.
Carter wants to see it. It does, but just execution no good. Parsons with the disc, moves to Aston, almost puts it behind her. Aston just adjusts on time. Parsons with a one-handed ankle biter grab.
Parsons centers it to Vanderpeet, and Vanderpeet looking for options, finding O'Connor on the open side, such separation. O'Connor faking the hammer and engaging reset. Parsons cutting strike, but O'Connor centers.
Beautiful move to Langridge, who's really recognized that she was perhaps poached in space.
Parsons with the disc now. And Rollman looking on the break side. The disc goes up. A sneaky outside in forehand. A difficult one to reel in.
Difficult. I don't love that choice. I don't love that choice. She was in space. She was free. There were other ways to get that disc there. And I'm sure that just in terms of the pressure of this game, Perry sending one deep. And is that Ali under it? Not in the zone. Looking deep though. Looking to try and get someone to bail her out.
Nice
Gets McDonald, who just calmly puts it back to Perry. Perry deserving that one after that beautiful put. Really, really nice work from Hammertron.
That is going to take Mahuika within 1 point of a victory, but they have to combat the Nexus offense first if they want to walk away with a win.
I think that was one of the most experienced Nexus lines that we have seen on. Just really, really difficult to see those sort of execution errors because the turnovers that are happening, like Kelsey said, they're happening because of options taken by Nexus. They're not necessarily all happening because of the defense. The defensive pressure is there, but some of the options of how to get discs to the open space, choices within the thrower's control.
So right now we have Hammertron Mahuika with the strong defensive line. Again, if they can make this point, they're going to take game, and that's the 3rd place finish. As Blair says, Nexus is not going to be content with just letting that happen right now. And a lot of the players, you know, they can dial in. They absolutely can. They can clean up those little niggles. And no doubt talking through that right now, what they need to do, bringing that energy up. As they'll need to take jump on that comeback train and carry it through if they want to stay in, because this is it. Not a lot left if they want to score it out. Hogan with the disc in hand. She'll be taking the pull for them. And Nexus, no doubt, looking to make some clean movements. Would be stoked to see a hawk, though, if they can put it up in the deep space. They've been doing so well when the disc is in the air like that.
Tangi, back to Lynch. Lynch looking downfield. Terry calling for it, but there's enough disc air under that disc that, Carter got a sniff. Not enough to deter Terry, though. Back to Dungy. Dungy, really new player in the space. Lynch looking downfield. Gets Rollman. Turning back to look for Lynch again. Terry's coming out wide. Oh, it's a hammer! Oh, amazing! Bogatsky just the most casual. Flick it away spike. Yes. Experience showing there on field. They just make it look easy.
A great hammer point to Bogatsky, and I know she's stoked about that in many ways. After that incredible layout she had earlier, she was shaking her head, she was frustrated on the sideline, really channeling that energy into some strong offense here, and stoked to reel in that other point, another point for Nexus.
Bogatsky, a really storied player, having played for New Zealand, I think both in the nationals team as well as in club teams. Just really showing the breadth of different age ranges as well as experience on this team. We have players who are fresh off school nats just a couple of days ago, as well as players like Bogatsky, like Robertson, for example, and Neil as well, they've been around for a while, but it's great seeing them mentoring these younger ladies and just putting on a show. Here we go. We've got Parsons with the disc, I believe, just waiting for a hand from Hammertron. And there's one from Ball. Let's see what could be the last point of the game. Big put. He's got a bit of loft under it. Ball's going to be picking up. So Hogan. Lynch on mark. Moves to Uvalon. She thought about going deep. Comes under instead. We've got Ali looking at not looking at Hogan.
With a great strike.
Oh, can she keep it in? Yes, she can, and that's game. Tiptoeing along the line. What a put from Ali.
What a fantastic assist to close out that match. Hammertron, Mahuika, they're going to have to be happy with that. A fantastic bronze finish in our women's division.
Lots of hugs, lots of great spirit from both teams. I know they put it all out on the line there, and I mean, it shows them getting to the top 4, both teams, especially Hammertron with such a short line. So congratulations to them for working so hard, getting that grind, and finishing it out.
An excellent matchup between both teams. Thanks for joining us here today. We'll have more games coming up soon, especially the rumbling matchup for the finals, which will be between an Auckland matchup. We've got Blueberries, the massive club Blueberries with such tenure, such experience versus Misfits. I think in their first finals in the Division 1 Championships. Stay tuned for that. Until then, my name is Kelsey Bielik.
I'm Beck Sofa.
My name is Blair Monroe. Thank you so much for watching.
Matewa.
ULTI.TV.